Peter W. Kendig, Radioman 2. And after about 6 months, I decided I wanted to go on board a sub, because that was my avocation. And went looking for a sub that needed a radioman and found the USS Spinax. And so I ended up going there. I never went to submarine school because I was already on there and working. However, when we went through Honolulu, I did go through the tower, the escape tower and everything like that. So don't necessarily have to have sub school, I guess, if you do a lot of OJT, right? The reason I went on Spinax was the fact that they only had 2 radiomen at the time, therefore they were hungry for a radioman. And I was hungry to get busy, so I started right off working in the radio room, which is a little bit different than most submariners, I believe, started. They all started doing mess cooking or whatever like that. So I ended up being right in the middle of the operation at that time. There were a couple of times when you were put under the gun, under pressure, in copying code. Of course, they don't do that nowadays, but there were some instances when we were in Westpac and conditions just were not right, and they were sending us some important information about operational deployment, where they wanted us to go. And they'd send it a number of times, but if you're on radio silence, you can't come up and say, hey, would you send that once more? You got, I think it was 6 tries and that was it. And if you're trying to keep under the water and the antenna is being shorted out by the waves and everything, and you miss something, you can't decode the message. And there were a couple of times that you know, you're responsible. So, but everybody on the sub is. The enginemen are responsible to make sure the thing runs, and the sonarmen are responsible to make sure you don't hit anything. And so everybody has a tremendous amount of responsibility on the thing, everybody. And since I had no real prior experience on naval or nautical things, I really didn't have any preconceived notions about what was there. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people and the mission. And your typical duty day was 4 on and 8 off. 4 on, 8 off, a split shift, what we currently call a split shift these days. And conditions, of course, were tight. Your bunk, I do remember you couldn't turn over in because your shoulders wouldn't fit. But I've always been a technocrat, and the boat was so technical. I loved motors, engines, electronics, and so I just ate it up. I really, really enjoyed that part of my life.